What if I told you that Jax and Ragatha are almost the same character? Sounds crazy, right? Throughout the Amazing Digital Circus, we are reminded constantly how different they are. Ragatha is nice to a fault, and Jax is a major bully. But because they're so similar, it also makes them both great character foils of each other. A character foil is a character that is typically different from another in order to contrast and highlight their character traits. So how can Jax and Ragatha be character foils of each other, but also the same? Well, you may be surprised that they're just two sides of the same coin, which in turn makes them great character foils. Now, when I say two sides of the same coin, what I mean is that if two things are two sides of the same coin, they are very closely related, although they seem different. When it comes to Jax and Ragatha in episodes 5 and 9, we learn about their past abusive relationships with their parents, with them both having had the same type of abusive mom. Jax's mom degraded him, never letting his true self feel like it was ever enough. Ragatha's mom degraded her, making her feel like what she did was never right. The only difference between them is how they express their trauma. Jax has what's called in psychology as the false self, a defensive psychological structure built to comply with the demands of the home, often at the expense of authentic self-expression. When the environment requires performance, compliance, or emotional suppression rather than genuine attunement, it learns to present a version of itself that is acceptable rather than real. Ragatha has what's called in psychology as fixer syndrome or fixer mentality, a compulsion to solve problems and make things right, often at the expense of personal well-being. This behavior often stems from childhood experiences where individuals may have felt responsible for the emotions or well-being of others. Jax expresses his trauma by hurting others as a means of protecting himself. Ragatha expresses her trauma by helping others to the point of hurting herself as a means of making herself feel right. But this is where them being character foils gets interesting. Even though they both have the same origin for their actions, they still choose to act differently. When episode 5 was released, it focused on how Jax and Ragatha are character foils of each other. During this episode, Ragatha and Jax are fighting each other to reach the same goal, to be friends with Pomni. Up to this point, Ragatha and Pomni have had a decent relationship. They're not very close, but on good terms, and Ragatha wants to continue getting close to Pomni. With Jax, Pomni doesn't have a good relationship with him at all, but slowly over the episode he's been more open with her, making her curious about him, thus creating an already high tension between Jax and Ragatha as they fight over being friends with Pomni. In the bar scene of the episode, the two approaches to win over Pomni show their differences. Jax puts down others to get what he wants, whereas Ragatha tries to force positivity to get what she wants.
Wow, the first steps of a budding friendship, right, Ragatha?
Hey, Pomni. Remember when Kaufmo smashed me against the walls and I got all jumbled up? All things considered, that was pretty funny, right?
No, not really.
Oh, yeah, no. Sorry, that was probably pretty traumatic for you.
Oh, remember when you got high at McDonald's and told Gangle to kill herself? No, that was funny.
What? I did not say that. I think. No, of course I didn't. And I am still so sorry about that, Gangle. I would never have said anything like that if I didn't get that stupid sauce in my eye.
Jax puts down Ragatha by telling a half-truth about what Ragatha did in episode 4 to make her look bad, and makes Ragatha freak out about Pomni and Jax maybe being friends. Ragatha doesn't attack back against Jax, but tries to force positivity onto one of Ragatha and Pomni's first interactions. Even though they are both under the same circumstances and both have the same goal, they both use very different methods to get there. Now this is where the importance of Jax and Ragatha being character foils of each other comes into play. When this episode was released, most fans went rabid and took sides. Some said Jax was the only one in the right as he was being brutal but not as fake as Ragatha, and that Ragatha was wrong for forcing positivity. Others said Ragatha was the only one in the right as she was forcing positivity sometimes but not being a complete jerk. But what people didn't understand was that neither Jax nor Ragatha are actually in the right here. Jax being a character foil to Ragatha highlights how Ragatha lets herself be hurt in order to make others happy. Ragatha being character foil to Jax highlights how Jax hurts others in order to get what he wants, showing how neither of them are in the right. This is how a character foil should work. Ragatha and Jax are character foils for each other, highlighting each other's character traits, and in this case, they highlight each other's unhealthy coping mechanisms. The way that this show uses character foils as a way to highlight and show how bad the dysfunction that these characters have is unique and interesting. Instead of just having the characters exist by themselves, we have two characters that both have the same reasons for why they act the way they do, and because they both act as foils to each other, they both highlight each other's dysfunction, as character foils should. Character foils are meant to show the audience the goods and bads of the characters being compared by comparing and contrasting their different traits. Anyways, that's all I've got to say, so hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. See ya.